Welcome, everyone. Today I'm here with Chris Meador, who is an expert on AI, and we are digging into how you can use AI and have it really sound like you and not have AI running you, but you're running AI. So, Chris, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
So, Chris, tell me a little bit about your background. Obviously, none of us were big in AI 5 years ago because it didn't even exist for us, right?
No,
How
absolutely
did
not.
you get into this whole world of AI and where you are now?
I mean, I didn't really have a choice. I mean, I think that's just kind of where I'm at right now when I think about it. What got me to this place is I've always worked in marketing. I've always worked in technology. I've always been a place where like I had to figure out how to make things work. And I actually, and that's always been really what guided me. But recently, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I made the jump into entrepreneurship because I hate myself and love myself all at the same time. And, I mean, come on, you understand that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and and in that leap, I can't afford more of me. I can't afford me. And so AI just naturally became that intern that allowed me to be able to do more because you can't tell me I can't do more. And so that's kind of like, when I think about it, it's really come from a place of I don't got a choice. And when you kind of do it that way, you figure it out.
Yeah, that's so true. So, Chris, for those people, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me, but you and I both know there are those people out there who are afraid of AI. And
Yes.
maybe they're just barely, dipping their toe in the water. Maybe they haven't even gotten to the point that they've dipped their toe in the water yet. What kind of mindset shift do they need to make?
Yeah. It's not your robot overlord. It's not you. It's not these stereotypes. It is really, it's an intern. I mean, the way that I talk out to a lot of folks, like imagine it's an 18-year-old fresh out of school, ready to work, but just not really sure what to do. How do you And then what would you do with it? How would you work with it? How would you make it work? I think there are people who are like, "Oh, you're recreating me." Well, sure, you're putting a lot of data in, but you is you. Like the what makes humans special is our ability to read nuances and empathy and connect. And AI can't do that at all. But what it can do is do a first draft in the email in my tone and voice that would have previously taken me 3 hours to write in 7 minutes.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? And 7 minutes is a long time, really, right?
It's a long time, and that's me giving feedback and back and forth, and that's actually me giving tight directions.
Right.
Is and so that's you're making my point right there, which is that it's not meant to it's meant to augment. It's meant to allow us to move faster. And like, how do you need to move faster? And what are those things that you need that allow you to like jump start so that you can like put you into it?
So, how exactly do you do that? How do you put you into it so that it just doesn't sound like another robotic written email or social
Yeah.
media post or video script or whatever it is you're using it for?
I give it feedback. I give it feedback and I think about it in terms of something looking for feedback. So let me take a step back and go, I am all about building, models that allow you to plug in data on the back end. Most models allow you to do that. And what I like to do is I like to record conversations of myself having a topic, a subject, a conversation on something. And I record it because it's getting my voice, my idioms, how I think about things, how I position things. And then I turn that into a transcript. I take that transcript, I clean it up. Again, I've used a whole bunch of tools that are free on the internet. We can talk about. This sounds maybe more complicated than it might be. This is what I just said right here, maybe 20 minutes. And then at that point, I put that transcript into the model because that's a basis of it starting to understand some of my language and work there. And then from there, I start working with it. And, there's a couple of things that I do. Thing number one is I have conversations with the model. And by conversations, I actually, so I was raised by my parents are litigators. but my father couldn't type to save his life. So I would wake up in the morning and he would be dictating whole briefs into voicemail for hours and hours. And so it's almost like I learned how to process information out loud, but clear to structure. I do that with AI. I record my directions in that way. I think through it. I talk about framework, I talk about structure. I let it go narrative all over the place. I go, oh no, never mind, don't talk about erase what I just said, but I work through all that. I turn it to a transcript and I go, please read back to me what I'm asking you to do.
Wow. Okay.
I don't ask it to
Cool.
start doing the work because it's not the work that's the issue. It's the directions that you got to get it on. So, what do you think I'm asking you to do? No, I disagree with these things. Oh, no, you're right here. Oh, no, do this differently. I go really back and forth on starting to build those guardrails of what I want this to be. And then from there go, okay, now let's start to build the content, and then really there's a point in that process where you have to pull the content out of ChatGPT. You have to do it in Google Doc or wherever else you do it. But
Mhm.
once you're done there, you need to make sure you copy it and paste it back into the model. And then you ask, what did I do different? Why did I do it differently? How will you next time approach it the way I just did it?
Okay. Now, most of our viewers and listeners are network marketers, affiliate marketers, and they're involved in multiple streams of income.
Yeah,
So let's say I'm promoting, and I'm totally making this up, right? Let's say I'm promoting a weight loss company, and I'm promoting a travel business, and I'm promoting, oh, I don't know, some other health and wellness, something or other,
sure.
right? Would you approach this as like every time you go in to do something with each one of those three businesses, let's say you've got three businesses, would you approach it as you set up chat GPT in this case, but it doesn't matter what large language model
Sure.
you're using, right? That you go into chat GPT and you tell it all about your weight loss business. And then you'd open up a new chat and you'd tell it all about your travel business. And then you'd open up a third chat and you'd tell it all about your third business. Um,
Yeah.
do you do it like for each project? Let's say I'm working on a YouTube video and then tomorrow I'm working on a series of follow-up emails for a funnel or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I love this conversation. I love everything about this AI world. I mean, we're living the future, before the robots take over. But going back into it is, I have an additional model I would add to what you just laid out there, the U model. And then I cross-reference that with all of them. So that one's more of my emails. It's the best emails I feel like I've ever written. It's some of my communications. It's some podcast interviews that I've done. So it's just my pure voice. And then I will cross that with other models that I'm working on. So I work on nonprofit boards. I have a nonprofit board model that I have as well that's dropped in bulletins and data, everything there. So that's one way that I make sure that I have my voice feel separate. Now, the bigger question you're asking is the chat versus project versus, how you break up everything. And I'm going to tell you, will you tell me what to do there? Because this is the one place where it's a mess. Like, I feel like I've not quite figured out how to think about it. And to be fair, I don't think ChatGPT has either, which is why they just built universal search. So you can now, when you go to search, it will search across all of your threads that you've had. And I think because they're kind of understanding that the organization system isn't great. So I'm playing with projects right now. The way I'm
Mhm.
using a project right now is I'm writing a book. Or I'm think delusion that I can write a book. And so when I have ideas, I'm talking to the model, I'm writing down thoughts, and I'm asking it to turn to a transcript to save that information for later. And I'm doing that within a project because I don't know. I thought let's do it this way and see how it works. I mean, that's how I'm playing with it.
Well, that's interesting because I use projects in ChatGPT almost as file folders, if you will.
Mm,
So every week I do a free training, for example. Every Thursday I do a free training, and each week I start a new project for that week's training because it's an entirely different subject from the week before. And within that, I'm creating the the script, if you will. I might be creating a
Totally.
PowerPoint for it, I might not, but I'm definitely creating a landing page for people to register. I'm creating follow-up emails, I'm creating social media posts. So I create a project every week for that, a different one
Wow.
every week. And then I create projects for my different businesses and, different promotions that might be going on. So I'm not sure that I've mastered it either, but that's the way I'm using projects
I
in
love it.
ChatGPT.
I mean, I do so much for my car just talking live when I think about it. I do a lot of transcription in the model I'm driving, and I wind up doing it across creating a multitude of chats. So I will often, from when I leave the house by 7:20 to take my son to school, and by the time I get back around 8:15, I will have six different threads of different chats I've started because I keep start thinking like, okay, we got to start here, we got to talk about this, we got to do this so that when I come back, I go, oh, those are my work streams I'm working on this morning. Great, thank you, and I got that figured out. So I mean, look, I think we're in a place where if it works for you, it works for you.
Exactly, right. And everybody works differently. Everybody has different organizational
Totally.
tools that do and don't work for them. So, there are no rights and wrongs in that. That's for darn
No.
sure, right?
But I think that, but you make a really, there's a point that actually we're making in this piece of the conversation, if you allow me to say, which is like, there's an intention.
Yes.
I think you have to have an intention going in of how you want to use this and how you don't want to use it, where you apply it, where you pull back. And I think that's where people get in trouble is they don't walk in with a clear intention of like where this fits and where this doesn't fit. And then suddenly they're like, well, it didn't work. It's like, well, no, it did what you asked it to do. Maybe you should have thought through it differently and then it would work for what you needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the only place where I haven't found AI to always work is with images, right?
Yeah.
It's right. I mean, there's sometimes I get a
Yeah.
really cool, perfect image. Other times I get something that's pretty darn wonky, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure a
But
lot
what
of
I
it has.
find, but what I find is helpful is elements, and that's actually where I've been using image a lot. Is I love Canva. Canva's AI
Yeah,
integration ain't so great, but they have great with background removers, the editing, the features, everything there. So sometimes what I will use ChatGPT, it's just my preferred platform for no reason,
yeah.
just because I like it. Really, no other reason. I will often use that to say like, let's create a style guide from here. We'll agree to it. And I'll be like, now let's create elements. What are pieces, different images? And then I'll download those, pull those into Canva. And now I just have more pieces to play with so that I can make the design move faster. So it's just a way of like just trying to make things I'm not a visual person. So I need templates and I need other people to give me design elements to move faster.
That's really interesting because when Canva came out with all its new AI stuff a month or so ago, I was right in there. I was one of the first people to sign up. I got access to all their new stuff. And then I was like, oh, it's not really all that great, is it?
No.
Yeah. So I do what you do. I tend to, I always start with Chat GPT and create things in Chat GPT and then
Yeah.
take it into Canva or take the ideas into Canva or take the text into Canva. But
You have
I'm
to.
tending to use much of the Canva AI stuff. I hate to admit it.
No, it's not great. Did you see the promotional video for VO3? It's the new
No.
model that's the video generation model. I mean, generates full video, audio. I mean, we're months away from this reality, like that
Yeah.
for all people. And just the idea, and people can go like, oh, why would I want that? It's like I have a software business. I imagine like being able to create faster demos that feel customized based upon the elements and go, here are the core elements. Now replug them together and just use AI to, clean up the edges. I mean, it's wild, but it's wild.
Yeah. I mean, text is absolutely amazing. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
I, I can't imagine how we did everything we do, which I was still doing everything I'm doing now, 3 or 4 years ago before AI came out and was available to all of us. But I
Yeah.
scratch my head and think, how? how did I create, so many follow-up email series? How did I create these landing pages all the time? Because I was writing all the copy. There wasn't anybody else writing it for me.
I know.
It was like, how many hours was I doing this a day? Right? It's craziness.
And it didn't need to be. I mean, I think that's when I hear people go like, I'm scared of AI, or I don't want to use it, or it's not going to affect me, or it's what, but all those things. It's like, well, but there's a lot of work that is not everything needs to be A work. Sometimes we need solid B work in order to move a customer forward, in order to get something done, or just to have them go, oh, you heard me coming out of this conversation. I see it, and now I can press click to buy on your site. And that's where if you can suddenly use a tool that allows you to take, I mean, I saw this tool the other day that takes conversations with a customer, turns it quickly into a microsite that's built around the things they agreed on, and then puts the buy link right there. And it just, and they had the elements are in there, but it just came out of the conversation. And you're like, that is, and that says to the customer, you heard me, I get you. It's gonna get them to click to buy faster. And it's like, and the site was fine. It was fine. Was it like perfect? Was it visually perfect? No, but it did the job it needed to do. And that's all
Right.
sometimes it needs to do.
Yeah. So aside from images, video, are there things that you think we should not be using AI for?
Yeah, therapy.
Okay.
um, this theme of using AI to tell me about what's your observations of me based upon the feedback I'm giving you is a dangerous, dangerous road. Highly like it's fun, and then I think people go like, I had a friend say to me the other day who did it for fun, and then started going, this feedback I'm getting is really rough, and I was like, the feedback from a yes, yes, that's right. So that's one place. I think a lot of the complex image creation is to the point you're going. Anyone who thinks you're going to get a complex image out is not going to happen. It's really going to have to be, think about it in terms of elements and logos and simple design. Copy can be added in. Like you just have to, I think folks spend a lot of time trying to make the image work. And there's just a point where you have to give up. I also think
Yeah.
that's the other thing to think about is if it is not working for you, if you're not getting the content you need out of it, you need to stop. It's not like something's in the model trapped, you're in a cycle. And I think that's where people also get stuck is they like try and make something work. If it's not working, then actually go try something else. Like go work it offline. I think that so I think it's not just about like what you shouldn't use it for, but you should also like not force it when it doesn't seem to want to fit.
Right. Yeah. And frankly, I mean, the templates in Canva, I think, are so easy to change and they look so much more professional that, I mean, I still love Canva and I use Canva all the time. And I think you can totally personalize them. You can put your brand colors in, you can put your fonts in, and it's so fast to do with Canva once you get used to it, right? So, so Chris, anything else that you would love to share with our viewers and listeners on how you use AI to make your life so much more efficient as an entrepreneur, as that solopreneur, like our viewers and listeners are?
A lot of it is using it to be able to capture capture my thinking when I have it. I often have these moments of clarity of direction, not in the opportune moments, but in the moments in which I'm in between places and to be able to talk it into the phone to give the direction and then to say, please feed it back to me. I'll review you again in 15 minutes. It allows me that moment of capture. If you don't want to do it into the app, I do voice notes all the time. I record conversations all the time. I'm like brainstorm starts. Hold on a second, record. Turn that quickly into a transcript on my phone, drop that in, and suddenly we have some direction. So I just, really like think about this idea of, there's so much information that actually you communicate and share verbally that if you find more opportunities to capture it, how do you then use it in order to fast track you in terms of feeding a model on the output? And that would be my biggest like feedback for everyone is record more often because you never quite know how that content's going to help you or what you're going to be able to pull out of it.
And when you're recording, are you recording directly into Chat GPT, or are you using, recording on your phone and then converting it?
It depends on what I press first, to be frank with you. Some
Okay.
days straight in ChatGPT, some days I record to a voice note. iPhone has a great, you can now record during a conversation to a voice note now. So like I have a few partners in different businesses. So if we really like start get into the brainstorm of it, we're like, oh no, let's all record and get it. So it just really depends what's handy. It all is the same.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris, if our viewers and listeners want to get in touch with you, find out more about you, what's the best way to do that?
You can go to LinkedIn. My profile is there, so I'm not sure if you put that in the notes or if I'm supposed to read it here, but you can check out my profile there or Chris at yesandthinking.com. That is I'm pretty easy to be found, and I like to chat.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate your insights today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for driving this conversation.
My pleasure. Take care.